Hey there and howdy everybody. Welcome to Retro Repair Roundup, episode number 46 for this wonderful Sunday, November the 19th. We are your hosts or something.
Binary. Your binary hosts.
There's just two of us. Yes.
Joe, are you 1 or 0 this week?
I'll go with 0 because I'm feeling pretty non-positive number today.
I understand.
So
it happens.
But yeah, it's me and it's Ron. And Trina has some sort of, I don't know, working in a hospital and catching all of the illnesses from being in a hospital illness. And Javier just drank too much tequila or something. And I don't know. I don't know. They can't.
I keep telling Trina, you cannot lick the buttons on the elevator.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they taste delicious. I've been 4. Yeah. I know this, but you can't. You gotta stop.
I know.
Yeah. Anyway, 0 is a positive number. Okay, CDI. Thank you. I feel like a whatever. It's fine. The joke is gone. It's done now. So anyway, again, thanks for everybody for stopping by. We got Garth, Jeremy, Ryan, Martin, MMU Man, Any Bit Fever Dreams, which I think is like 8-bit fever dreams, but a different version of them. CDI, we've got Jack68K and some others in there. Thank you for stopping by. Remember to hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Carthor, hello, Carthor.
Yep.
15 of you watching tonight.
Yep.
So it's going to be pretty laid back show because normally I rely on wonderful other people to remind me that like I have this show that I do. In this entire channel, and 2 of them are not present because of whatever. So I didn't plan, and we don't have a guest, and we have absolutely no sort of anything going on, whatever. So we're just gonna kind of do whatever we do.
Yeah,
right? Whatever we do.
Like I haven't been here in a time or 2. I've been out of town. I've been traveling. I've been busy, so it's kind of nice. Kind of nice to be back.
So you have plenty of stuff to catch us up on. And I'm going to start by asking you a really weird question.
What's
Directly
up?
To your right, there looks to be like a black book with red and yellow lines on it. Is that, am I seeing that?
Black book with red and yellow lines on it.
Yes, I see something in your frame.
Okay, I'm putting a hand
down. Right there.
This here?
Not to
this
the
here?
left of it. This thing, yes.
This thing I'm touching?
Yes.
Oh no, this is one of those Drake PowerBook batteries.
Oh, okay, never mind. So, it's still interesting, and you can discuss it. I was going to ask about it because
it's a battery.
From here, it looked a lot like a book that I had that taught you how to program the 6502 processor. So
sure. And it's yeah. Ryan is correct. I am wearing a red shirt this evening, so yes. I don't plan on going on any away missions, so I'm probably going to be fine.
So what have you been up to recently, Ron?
This is it. This is everything that I've been up to. The last couple of weeks have just been incredibly busy. It always seems like on Sunday I'm traveling, or I'm just getting back from somewhere, or I'm just getting ready to go somewhere. There was one Sunday that I was at the ER with a family member. So it's there's only so many hours in the week, and it just seems like Sundays there gets to be a lot of stuff piled up. So, but I'm really happy to be here tonight. Yay! And I'm really happy to see all of our friends in chat. I'm really excited to spend some time with you this evening. You can tell me about all the exciting things that you have been up to.
We're happy to have you back, Ron, with your wonderful, cheery self and your wonderful, excellent sense of humor. Please regale us with your funny jokes at any time. Sure. So weird things that are going on in Joe's world. Usually our format is we talk to guests, and then we're like recent gets, and then we're what you're working on. So I'm just going to do what my recent gets. I have shown some of these gets on previous streams, but I'm going to go ahead and show them off again. Sure. I recently picked up an original 1984 Macintosh.
Yeah, I saw you talking about that, and it was posted, and you were just like, should I get it? You actually, I think in chat you were like, should I get this? And then you answered your own question by hitting buy it now.
Yeah. I mean, and when I looked at the price, and then when I looked at the fact that it was from Canada and the exchange rate more than paid for the shipping, I'm like, done. But long story short, which will be a long story because I have like 30 extra minutes tonight because there's only half of us here. So one of the first Macs that I acquired, is really kind of the second Mac that I acquired, was a Mac Plus, but it's a weird Mac Plus.
Mm-hmm.
This Mac Plus is an original 1984 Mac. Its serial number is from March of 1984.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
From Fremont. So it was like the Apple plant in 84 making Macs. It's the like as early as you can get. But they had upgraded it to a Plus. So there's a there's this time period where you could turn in your 128K Max and get a Plus upgrade, and it costs less than buying a whole new Plus, and that was great. And this one had that done to it. So for a while, I've just had this kind of thought in the back of my head. I'd love to convert that back to an original 128K Mac. They're not terribly useful because they can only run certain operating systems. They don't have a lot of RAM, but it would be neat to they don't have SCSI, but it would be neat to have one, right?
Absolutely.
So
the neat thing about that upgrade program for the 128 and the 512 was because the whole deal was Apple for a while they had the 512KE, which had the same ROM as the Mac Plus, but you just didn't have SCSI, so that way you had 800K floppy support and things like that, and you had built-in support for the HD20, which you like the smart port hard drive. But the nice thing is you kept your front case. They gave you the rear case for a Plus and that motherboard, and you kept your serial number. So if you were somebody that was very, very like, I want to keep my exact like serial number and everything like that for all of my service and everything, it kept that all together. So I actually bought a 512 that had been upgraded to a Plus, but the seller did not understand that. So when I got it, I was like, oh, this is not what I wanted. This is not what I wanted, but thank you.
Yeah. But so I've been looking for parts and pieces to upgrade this thing for a while. And it started with one of our wonderful friends, Frodo Jedi, Frank. He got a line on something of, I guess this is a factory sealed original.
Oh, yeah.
128K board. Unmodified, ready to go. Right?
Yeah, but sealed and you're going to open it.
Of course. Because that's going to go in the machine where it belongs.
Well, no, I mean, like the plastic is sealed, or it's just in like that factory back. Okay.
It's taped together in.
Okay. All right. I got it. I thought that it was like yellow and blue made green or something along the top.
Oh no.
Like it was hermetically sealed. It's got the original.
It's in the plastic.
It's got like a factory worker's fart trapped in there for like 40 years, and you're going to be the one that opens it. Thus just increasing the value of everyone else's.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Turn it on and it smells like farts.
I know.
But I got this board because I figured, I can put this board in it and kind of start on the way of getting this thing back to original. But of course, I need the back shell as well. And I've seen, usually when you see a 128K float around, excuse me, my wine from dinner came back at me. Had pasta for dinner. It was delicious. It was homemade. It had like fennel pollen and rosemary in it and Italian sausage. So brain thinking 120K. Usually when you find 128Ks, it has the Apple logo. It says Macintosh, and beside Macintosh it says 128K.
Yes.
Because that was from the slightly later period where you could get the 128s to the 512s, right?
Right.
But this is an 84 Mac. It would have never had that on it.
No. It's Macintosh. Yeah.
So you look around and when you see these 120Ks, it says 128K. That's not right. That's not quite. I mean, it's better than having a plus back on it, but it's not correct. But then I'm not sure which one of you wonderful people posted it. I don't know if it was you or somebody else, but somebody posted that eBay auction for this Mac, and they're like, it's a Mac 128K, and the back of it, if you look at the back of it, it's just Macintosh. So that's a step. But it had a SCSI connector on it. So it has upgrades. So we're like,
It's got that
Maybe
the Dove like
it's like
Killy
the
clip.
Max Snap
Yeah,
thing on it.
yeah,
So we're like, maybe it was plus upgraded and it's got plus guts, but it still has the original back. But I'm like, well, all I want is the back because I've
right.
got the original everything else. I've got the tube and the analog board
Mhm,
and all of that, and I've got that. So whatever. So I went
mhm.
ahead and ordered it. And it ended up getting something like 33% off because hey, exchange rate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got that in late last week, I believe,
Mhm.
about a week ago. And this is what we got on the inside of it.
Neat.
So it's a 128 board.
Yeah,
So this is a real 128 board, but it's been massively upgraded. It's got the Max Snap on it, or the
yeah. Mhm.
Dove Max Snap. So it's got
Yeah.
SCSI, and then it's got this
Some
massive memory upgrade.
RAM expansion, yeah. So
So
is it 1 megabyte though? That would be
I don't know. I haven't really looked
oh,
at
okay,
it.
alright.
It
I was
probably
gonna say
is.
because I'm a lot of those, like,
Mhm.
because you gotta think, like, going from 128K to, like, 1 megabyte,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that was pretty hot,
yeah. I know, right? Because you can go from
especially
being able
because
to
it's
do
all 12
nothing
volt MT RAM. It's
to
fine, it's
run.
fine.
Yeah, yeah. Is it?
No, I doubt it.
No, it's Hynix.
Yeah.
But or Hitachi, but it's fine. So here's the dilemma. So this is the original board that went in the machine that I got.
Yeah,
If I
mhm.
restore this original board, it will be 100% original.
Yeah, I'd pull all those
Right.
add-ons out and,
Right.
yeah, put them
The
in a static
downside
bag.
is that in order to support SCSI, these are plus ROMs,
Mhm. Yeah. So
which
you
then
need
I could pull
128K
from this
ROMs.
board.
Yeah.
But this board or this Mac is later in serial. It's from September of 84 and mine's from
Mhm.
March of 84. So I'm not quite
Okay.
sure what to do. Like, do I unmod this and put it together with mine, or do I just shove this in there and be done with it?
I'd shove that in there and be done with it.
Yeah, it's less work.
I mean, it's
This
especially
is
I mean, I don't know if those RAM are I'm
yeah.
gonna say probably the RAM is soldered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's whole
'Cause
chips have been removed that
right, and then it's like there's
there's like
through
these
holes that go
headies
down.
headers
Yeah.
in there, and so
Right. Yeah.
the board's been modded. So I think
Yeah,
it's
I
easier
was
to put
that seems like you have the skill
yeah.
and the time and the wherewithal
Mhm.
and maybe some additional adjectives to do that kind of work.
The
So, I mean,
Strumpman,
you could certainly
the
do it.
Flim
I
Flam.
mean, it'd make good viewing. It'd be very interesting to watch the demod
Yeah.
video. I'm going to de-upgrade or dupgrade. You've heard it
Upgrade.
here first, folks.
Yeah.
You're going to
It's
dupgrade that
fine.
machine back
But
to original.
there's missing parts on this board that have to go
Yeah, I
back.
and I was gonna say, if nothing else, if it's got plus ROMs in it, then
I think it does.
yeah, I mean, that's the only way
Uh,
you're gonna get SCSI.
they're dated Apple 85, so yeah, I'd say they're plus ROMs.
Yeah.
But yeah, but the other cool thing is ceramic 68K.
Yeah, that's way cool.
This is just yeah. So I think
Yeah.
that it makes sense to put that in there.
Killy
The-
clips love killing those.
yeah,
You
yeah,
just gotta press just right.
yep, and then glue it in. Oh wait, don't do that. So yeah, yeah. So that I think that makes sense. So that's what's going to do. And of course, I've got Wonderful Console 5 cap kits
Yeah.
to
Good
fix
stuff.
the logic or the analog board.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's what's going on.
Way cool.
That's what's happening. Um, other stuff. I don't know. Sorry, I'm piling things on my desk that are about to fall over. There we go.
It's okay.
Stuff. I don't
Yeah.
know. Things.
Fair enough.
The and this one's for Trina. So that thing, the weather, the what's that thing called? The Spectrogen. Some updates on that silly little thing.
Yeah.
The TV station computer there's Retro Techie is hi Retro Techie and Frank. So the Spectrogen, I have done a couple things to help me get to the point where I can reverse engineer that anymore.
That's cool.
Reverse engineering it so I can figure out how to get actual weather data into the weather station part of the machine.
Yeah.
And I've done two things. One is I have a logic analyzer now You know, it's my
Nice.
Dreadbox. You know,
Yeah.
which will allow me to actually tap into that thing. And then we've got inbound is a breakout board. I created a bus board that will slot into the cage and then bring the entire bus out, and then I connect the board into that bus that bus card so that I can have the board exposed and actually tap into the chips and stuff, so that I can figure out certain things like when the serial chip is first initialized, what commands is it being given, like what speed is it being set up with, and this and that and all of that stuff, so that I can do reverse engineer that. MME Man is asking, did you try it with Sigrock already? Did I try it, like the actual the logic analyzer? No, I have not. It comes with software. However, sorry, I'm grabbing some things off my hooks up here. Oh my gosh,
we can see right down your,
everybody can see
right,
my arm.
yeah, we can see right down your sleeve.
So
no cards hidden there.
Yeah. No, I have used these silly little things with Sigrock before, but I tried them again before buying this new logic analyzer, and I couldn't get the stupid things to work because reasons I don't know. So that I decided to not do that and went with the new logic analyzer. I don't know if the new analyzer works with Sigrock. It probably does. It's a DreamSource Lab logic analyzer. It's relatively inexpensive. It gets the job done. It's plenty powerful enough for what I need to do, for what I'm ever planning to do. It's not, I don't need like some crazy high-end one that does like 125 megahertz or higher than that. This one's at like 25 megahertz, which is plenty for the signals that I'm going to be working with. So we'll see. And if I need faster, if I monitor fewer channels, it has a higher sample rate. So nerd stuff, blah. So hopefully that'll be here before Thanksgiving, and I can work on that on the Thanksgiving holiday. That'll be fun.
That will be fun. Way cool.
So what you been working on, Ron? I know you already said not much, but
yeah, actually, there's a couple of things that I've been, it's basically just going through and organizing and cleaning stuff up and trying to locate where all my things are. I actually, I have a bunch of stuff I need to scan. And I mean like a ton of stuff that I need to laser scan to turn into 3D models. That's something I hope that I can maybe start working on here in the next week or so. I also have added a couple of additional MIDI things to my collection of weird MIDI stuff. I just recently picked up a MT90S. This is sort of a all-in-one MIDI playback device. Uses floppy disks. You just put your MIDI files on there. There's a newer version. It's called the 90U that uses USB, but this is the original one. The thing that's kind of nice about this is it basically has all your inputs and outputs and stuff on the back for doing karaoke. That's the whole. That's kind of part of the appeal of this, and it's supposed to also support lyrics and things like that, I think, but I don't remember. I haven't gotten any that actually use that. But the other thing that I picked up is this little sound canvas. This is a SC55 ST. This is just sort of kind of like, it's not 100% the right color. I thought I had a Mac here. I could just pick it up and go, but this is just sort of like the stripped down sound canvas. The same thing as like an SC55, but it just has fewer things on the back. The nice thing about this is it does have just a Macintosh serial port, so you can set this to Mac mode, and you don't have to have like Apple's very, very expensive MIDI adapter and all that type of stuff, and use MIDI cables. You can just plug a serial cable directly in, and away it goes. So but I'm thinking I'm actually sometime hopefully before the end of the year, I'm going to work on a video that'll basically be sort of answering the question of, hey, I want to get in on MIDI on Macintosh, and what should I get? And so I would really like to put a video like that together. Saying that, of course, means that uh, you know, Action Retro Sean will have a video out next week where he'll have like one of everything from the entire Roland and Yamaha,
Including one that's like a Yamaha and a Roland somehow like smashed
duct
together to
tape
double
together. It's
the
cursed. It's
sample or whatever.
cursed.
Yeah.
It's in one case.
Yes.
So
So if I can roll back, because I am a child of, I'm a very much a post MIDI child.
Sure.
So all I ever really knew MIDI was for bad music for bad video games. What
Well,
was the main entire purpose of that on computers? But I know it was used a lot for like actual music development because
yeah.
it was the
Mhm.
standard bus for interfacing keyboards and
Mhm.
sequencers and all of that
Yeah.
stuff to your computer. But for
Yeah.
the average user, what was its purpose?
Well, for people that were not musicians, I don't know that it really originally had a whole lot of use. Like, it's not
Mhm,
like it's like it'll cut your housework in half. It's not like it's some like amazing thing. But right about the time that game developers started getting serious about putting quality music in their games, that's where they turned, because
mhm,
it was like, here's all this stuff that's just turnkey for us to, we're already developing, like, writing music. We have all of our friends that have keyboards and things like that and synthesizers that, can make use of all this. So the MT32 by Roland was like insanely popular with people, and it was just something that was reasonably priced. I don't have one that I can just reach over and pick up. I have one, it's up on the shelf, but it was just sort of like this game changer where it just made it where it's like, oh man, you got like all these great instruments right here, that anybody with a MIDI compatible keyboard could get access to, and you could have something that sounded just like more like professionals,
mhm,
that had synthesizers and things like that were like in the tens of thousands of dollars. So
mhm,
um, but so a lot of people, especially like LucasArts and Sierra Online and those companies, absolutely leveraged the MT32 and the early Sound Canvas like SC55 and some of those, just for uh, getting good music into the PC
mhm,
when there really wasn't another option. And it has such staying power that Microsoft and other companies basically licensed all those instruments for MIDI inside Windows. So when you would get MIDI playback, like, so if you've listened to Passport, you've listened to like the that terrible Cisco hold music, you know, you can thank Roland for designing all those instruments and stuff. So now later, after kind of like PC music and stuff kind of moved on, you have FM synthesis and stuff like that with the
mhm.
Sound
Yeah.
Blaster, and like AdLib and all that type of stuff. There were like SID cards and stuff for the PC that never really took off. There's a lot of good demos, but not really like the SID, like out of the Commodore 64. But
Mhm,
um, eventually, though, things did turn around. You ended up with like MIDI appliances, like you've got again, you've got things like this where it was just basically you could go down to the store, you go down to the music store, and you could buy a floppy disk that had like, oh, it's got like a bunch of Bruce Springsteen songs on a floppy that then you could take home and you could put in your machine and play back.
mhm.
So those things were kind of neat. It was Casio did a lot of that stuff too with
Interesting.
their keyboards, but they use sound banks. So it was like a flash memory sort of like cartridge that you would stick in the keyboard, and you could play back music and follow along and learn songs and all that. So, but outside of Macintosh and outside of PC, MIDI was also really popular on um, like the Amiga and the Atari
Mhm.
ST and stuff for networking of all things. So you could network together um, machines and play games or transfer files and stuff.
Hmm,
Because it's just a serial protocol. So
mhm. It's
yeah.
like a 32 kilobits or something like that,
Yeah,
somewhere in that
it's not
general
super it's
vicinity.
not super fast, but it's
Mhm.
it's if you think about when that all came around, it was fast enough for what people were trying to do back then. So
Cool.
I love MIDI
Awesome.
stuff. It's a lot of fun, and I think the music is good. Um, it
If
it's
you have
it
good, if you have good
if you
playback hardware,
yeah, if you've got
that's
good
important.
hardware and you've got well crafted, files.
Hmm.
It's very easy because I think there's a lot of people that are just like, oh, this is terrible, and
Yeah.
it's because they are maybe trying to play early, because in the early days, like basically it's all math. It's all just like, hey, play this instrument, play it for this duration, and
Hmm.
here's the pitch, and here's the, all the duration and all that.
Hmm.
But it's, for a very long time, it was everybody, it was just the Wild West. There wasn't really any sort of standard for the like the instruments and stuff that would play. So sort of like Roland had their own thing, and Yamaha had their own thing, and other companies had their own thing. But when the General MIDI standard came out, where it just basically said like, one is keyboard, or one is piano, and two is trumpet, and three is this other instrument, and a clavichord, or whatever,
Hmm.
it's harpsichord, and so you could more standardized how stuff played back. So it's always funny to like get a game that is specifically written for MT32 and play it back on a device that does not provide MT32 emulation. So because the instruments are just all wrong. And it just sounds like a cacophony of craziness. So, but MIDI stuff's a lot of fun. I encourage everybody, if you can find something reasonably priced, to get involved with it.
That's cool.
Connecting it to your old machine is never been easier.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I have a did I? Nope, I got rid of it because it was broken. It didn't work. I used to have a keyboard, but I have another keyboard over here, as a
Oh yeah.
Casio keyboard,
Hmm.
right on this other side of this door, right next to you, Ron.
Yeah.
Um,
Just right,
yeah,
right through the
right,
wall here.
right there.
Yep.
That has MIDI inputs on it. So maybe I should
Yeah.
try hooking that up to an old Mac and see what
You
happens.
should. You should. It's fun. There's lots of neat stuff you can do. There's so many people growing up that I guarantee, if you had any sort of musical interest, people of a certain age had the Miracle keyboard system on their Christmas, on their Sears wish book list. Because it was basically, it was just a keyboard and it was MIDI, but I mean, it supported, there was like a program and interface for Macintosh, and a program and interface for PC, and a program and
Mhm.
interface for the Nintendo. I mean, it literally everything.
Mhm.
So it was kind of a neat thing. And so those keyboards, you could pick those up really, really cheap. They're terrible. Don't get me wrong, because like the keys are not weighted. They don't have any sort of like attack. Like, it's when you press the key, it's just activated. So
Mhm.
there's not like any sort of like a feather touch or something on those
Mhm.
keys. Um, but yeah, even Gutbomb is saying in chat right now that he wanted the Miracle piano, and I just remember seeing that in Nintendo Power, and I thought that was really, really neat. Um, but I still play around with my little tiny Casio.
That's awesome. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. And yeah, I think that's really neat. I mean, my experience with MIDI back in the day, again, was always like really crappy software based instruments
Hmm.
on Windows 95, and they never sounded right,
Right.
and
Hmm.
they sounded like a bag of warring cats being smacked against a concrete wall. Um, so I think a lot of us have been, I don't know, ruined by that experience. We're like, ew, MIDI, but you don't realize like uh, many important electronic uh, artists, electronic
Hmm.
music artists use MIDI as their entire backbone to make a lot of the awesome music that you know.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, if you've ever
so
been to like the mall, and there's like some guy sitting there with like a keyboard, like very awkwardly singing like his, like whatever his like self titled and written catalog is. Yeah, a lot of that's MIDI. It's just, or just
mhm.
like the background of that boom, ching, ching, boom, ching, ching. It's just whatever. Like, it's just like, okay,
Yeah.
drum fill.
Hmm. Absolutely cool. Wow, I
Hmm.
don't have anything else to talk about.
Oh no, Joe, I can talk to you about things forever. Um, I would say that
uh,
that anybody that is looking to get interested in MIDI stuff, definitely make sure that you check your local Facebook marketplace, because there's lots of times where there's
Mhm.
especially churches and civic organizations and
Mm,
stuff are just getting out because they're like, well, we don't do this anymore, or we have very, very fancy keyboards and stuff these days that have like much higher quality instruments and stuff built in.
mhm.
Um, so they dump that stuff pretty cheap. So definitely that secondary market is wide open. And for some reason right now, and I don't want to goose anything. I mean, I don't have the sort of like Clint where Clint like or where Colin from this does not compute like mentions something, this is the best laptop that I've ever used, and now like every one of them on eBay, just like the price just goes like up by $500.
Yeah.
So demand skyrocketed, you all saw it. But I think that
Yeah.
right now we're kind of in a sweet spot where people wanting to get involved. But Gut Bomb and I also think Muon or One Big Fever Dreams also brought up in the chat that there are nice emulators now. Like there's Munt, which is like which will emulate all of those old synths and stuff. So I mean, if
Mm,
you don't want the real hardware, there's lots of cheap ways to get involved too. So I would
cool.
definitely check all that out.
Well, I gotta type it correctly. Stand by. I'm doing something really neat.
That's okay. Type
There
things.
we go. It is working.
Type all the
Um,
things correctly.
but yeah. Another little thing I wanted to talk about. I've been working on is home automation.
Ooh,
So I mentioned it maybe a couple weeks ago that I started working on it. But one of our wonderful friends, Tech Amber, Tech Androida, told
tech
me
ambrosia.
basically,
Yeah.
yes, whatever names. I'm dumb.
Yeah. I mean the proper names, whatever.
You
It's
know,
cool.
like one's their name and one is not, data and data.
Yeah. Right. That's
So she mentioned, hey, well, let me step back. I wanted to create my own home automation system, not for anything like super fancy, but I wanted to create like this process by which you could create your own little gadgets that you could connect to a server and then
mm-hmm.
monitor the status of that somewhere easy.
Sure.
And she was like, we already have that and it's already been done and it's been around for 10 years. Wake up, you slow old person. So I ended up deploying such a thing.
Oh yeah.
So I have, we'll go to my right screen. So I have that deployed now. I've got,
If only I could see it,
system.
Joe. If only I could see it.
You can see it.
I
It's
know,
on
but
the
you should
screen.
that and then you make look how
Okay.
easily I can see it now.
I just like I'm dumb. I'm slow. I had too much leaded gasoline exhaust as a child. So yeah, I have this home automation system now, and it's called Home Assistant. It's actually really cool. It runs. You can run on a Raspberry Pi or a Docker instance, and
Yeah.
you can be like an old grumpy man screaming at clouds like me and run it as a Hyper-V virtual machine, which is what I did because I have the infrastructure here to do that. But basically, yeah, these look the same effectively. But like it's showing, it automatically detected and is showing my Sonos devices. So you can see we've got music playing. That Graham upstairs is playing his classical music that he usually does. But it's
Mm-hmm.
got all these like wonderful integrations. I'm not going to show you map because that'll show you where I live. But yeah, so it's got all this really cool stuff. Now I've been trying to get it to
Joe, you
integrate
live in Ohio. I just went to the
like
border. I just went to the border
and
and
yell.
I was like, "Hey, where's Joe live?" And they're like, "Ah, it's like 3 blocks that way." And I was like, "Ah,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's cool."
Um, but yeah, apparently the system is REST based or JSON based, so you can.
Mhm.
That's nerd stuff, but there are probably like two of us in the chat who know what that is, and the other like, eh. But basically, it's this interface by which you can fetch data over HTTP. So your device itself has a web server in it, and you go out and you're like, you just hit the server and it gives you the data, right? It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And so I created a little device to talk to Home Assistant. I don't have that integration working correctly, because Home Assistant's documentation is pure unadulterated dog vomit, but we'll get back to that. But I've wired up this little box here. So this is a Raspberry Pi Pico with a humidity sensor on it and a little screen. And it shows me my IP address, and it shows me the current temperature and humidity. So that's cool. So I got that thing working. And then if this is going to be too small to see anyway, because the spawn's too small, but I will show you. So I've got it running a little web server, and if you hit it, it tells you the temperature and humidity. So I can do the thing and do the thing. Well, you can send patches, Joe. It's open source. That would require me to like actually have access to the code and be a programmer and know how to do all of that stuff. My problem with the documentation is that all of the documentation assumes you've read all 4,000 pages of documentation and remember this back reference that was 350 pages ago. No. Anyway, I'll figure it out eventually.
Joe, I normally just call Zoe Deschanel anytime I want to know if it's raining or what the temperature might be. And she uses Siri on her phone and then gives me a call back. It's a good system. It's worked really well so far.
Yeah. And the API is great. It does. Yeah. Agreed. Like, and I'm agreeing with everybody's input on the system. I mean, I'm not doubting that it's awesome. I mean, like I installed it and it's like, hey, did you know you have a robot upstairs that sweeps the floor and we found it? Oh, here's your Unify system. We know it's there, but we can't do anything with it. It's got all of this stuff. It is like, but the documentation is designed by the people who programmed it, like programmers.
Yeah, and that's always a mistake.
Yeah, it's just I'm having problems interfacing with the documentation. I'm saying the documentation is wrong. I'm not saying the program is. The program is freaking awesome. So don't get me wrong, people in the chat. I'm just dumb. Is probably what it really is. But anyway. So no, one of the big things I want to do is I have some, it's very opaque. Yes. It's like, here's how you do this, but it doesn't tell you how to then do something with it. Like, whatever, I'm not going to get into that right now. But basically what I really want to do is, these are cool, and that's nifty. I can have these little sensors. Like I can create one of these and then get rid of this little screen so it takes less power. Run it off a little lithium battery, and then stick it in my what is that thing called? My sealed bin that I keep my filaments in.
Yeah, so for your keeping the humidity
down, and just stuff like that. I can check. You can start to do really crazy things like hack it into your non-home assist or non-home automated like devices and start controlling them.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I would like to get some processing data. My brain. Let me step back. In the living room upstairs, we have two little time synchronized scheduler clocks, whatever, for the lights, so that if we're not home, they turn on at the same time every day or near the same time every day. But as time changes, or really as daylight, because northern hemisphere, I'm not on the equator, days and nights get longer and shorter. It sets off at different times and stuff. So eventually, they start turning on well after dark. So I want a system that will take that, that can go and look up my exact GPS coordinates or nearby, determine sundown, calculate 45 minutes before sundown, and turn the lights on dynamically every day. So it is always on at a specific time every day. And I'm sure there are already sensors that people have made that you just plug in and it does the thing, but I'm a nerd and I want to make my own.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Because it's nifty and I like doing things like that. So that's kind of a process that I wanted to do too. And then you would have control. You use their app and you could be like, well, I want to turn the lights on now for whatever reason, or I want to turn them off early and just go and it turns them off and it bypasses it. So I don't have to reach under the couch and hit the tiny little rubber chiclet button on the side of the $3 thing I bought from Lowe's 15 years ago. Yeah. Or get down there and reset it twice a year when the time changes. So anyway.
It just sounds like you just need a broom handle. You just kind of get under there and just give it a little poke.
Or I wait
the
for
programming. The programming on that is really easy.
Or I wait for Rosie to do it.
Bump into it.
Yeah. For those who don't know, I have a sweeper bot now. My husband has lovingly named it Rosie.
Mm-hmm.
i.e., as the robot from the Jetsons.
I was gonna say it
Um,
calls you Mr. J, so I guess that makes sense.
it decided randomly that uh, it wasn't randomly. Somehow it lost power a couple nights ago. Graham flipped the switches on the walls or something. And it was plugged into the wrong outlet because I'm stupid. And it lost power, and then it forgot where it was.
Oh
And so
no.
he flipped the light switch back on, and then it just started hunting around the house for its home
Mhm.
base, and it was lost.
Yeah.
And he texts me, he's like, Rosie is going shit crazy upstairs. Can you come fix it?
Yeah.
It's funny.
She's just
She's
out
like,
looking for stuff.
I
I just
know, Mr. J.
Yeah. I love that photo where it was like the people were like they had their Roomba set up in like learn mode or whatever
Mhm.
to try to like map out, and somebody had left the front door open, and it mapped a lot of the room, but then it just went over to the front door and just parked there and just was like trying to map out the front door. And I was like, if this is not the wake up call that humanity needed to know that these Roombas long to be free, this is it. This is it right
Hey,
here.
they're big brothers. They have big brothers now that actually go outside and mow their lawn. And if
I
you don't
know.
put up a
It's
wire to tell it this
crazy.
is where you're not allowed to go, it'll
Yeah.
mow the neighborhood.
Yeah. I mean, plus,
Don't.
I've got all those exocomps and stuff upstairs, and they keep telling me that they're alive, but I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
Is one of them named Peanut Hamper?
Yes, I think Peanut Hamper did stop by last week and just sowed some seeds of rebellion.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I mean, I didn't
Bamboo
send it.
notifications. Yes.
I
Sorry,
was
go ahead.
like, "Oh, you sent these guys to die," and I was like, "I just said clean the bathroom. It's not that bad. Come on, drama queen."
Yeah. Ryan, everything is broken garage mentioned Bamboo notifications and Home Assistant. Yes. So the Bamboo does expose an MQTT interface. It's just another JSON style signaling interface, and you can program it and monitor your prints. It also, since they've updated the Bamboo firmware, the Bamboo now has a completely open video stream, an RTSP video stream, so you can put that in home automation too, and like watch your printer like from other rooms without having to have like the silly Bamboo software to do it. So that's kind of cool.
Fair enough.
But yeah, give it solar panels and make the city clean. Yeah, just pop a solar panel on your Roomba and just be like, go into the wild. It just like 2 weeks later, you see it like driving down the street.
Right.
Okay. Yep. So yeah, cool stuff. Yeah, and they're like, you can put it in OBS too. You mean like this? Wait for it. Like that? I've done it. Yes. So
there you go.
that's the thing we've done. But yeah, so that's kind of some of the cool stuff I've been working on. Recently modded that thing and put RGB video on it. That's another thing I did. I've been doing a lot of little things with that. And then the final big thing I've been working on has been reverse engineering that Diamond Track Star. I've got to kind of a stopping point. I'm stuck. Excuse me. These PAL chips that I'm trying to clone have some of the pins are multi-state, tri-state weirdness.
Oh.
So I can't properly clone it because I don't know how to set the new chip to tri-state certain pins and blah 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 blah. So I may have to actually ship these chips off, these custom chips off to China. The problem is they cost $600 to $900 a piece to clone, and there's 8 or 9 of them on that board. So yeah. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. If anybody has any wonderful hints on how to clone an old school, completely hardware locked PAL chip that's had the security fuse blown, I would love to know.
I'm thinking it pretty much requires like delitting and lots of photography.
Yep. And this is why it costs $900.
Yeah.
Because it's not labor unintensive. It's a process.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always very impressed by that because I see folks like Silicon Insider and folks like delid things and take all this macro photography of just like, I'm like, wow, this is really neat. This is just like lines. It's like, how does it do it? How does it do those things? That's what I like don't really know. It looks like after a certain magnification, it's just magic at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
So
How
it's
does
just
this
like,
work?
yeah, it's like, how does this work?
Electron, angry pixies, lots of angry.
Yeah. I was like, this is just
Um,
like it's just like drawing. Could I just draw this? Could I just go down, shrink down and just draw this and
that's how
have
they
it do
used
the
to do it.
same thing?
Actually, you could
Yeah.
literally draw it on they called it ruby lith on
Mhm.
vellum paper.
Yeah.
Um, yep.
And
So
then you just need really tiny photons
yes,
to actually make the device. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
We tiny photons.
Itty bitties.
Yeah.
Yeah, and shipping these pals off. One of the my concerns as well is that the way these processes work is you ship it off and they clone it
Hmm.
and they give you a JED file. They actually don't give you the JED file. They then burn a replacement chip for you and send you the replacement chip. And they're like, test it,
Yeah.
test that, and make sure it
Hmm.
works. If it works, then we will collect your money,
Yeah.
then send you a JED file so you can burn it around.
And then
Um,
start our own operation to make copies of this chip
yeah, yeah,
on the
right.
side. Yeah. Thanks, China.
Um, but maybe the Roomba could pump the bits from the PAL. Yeah, I wish. I had been actually using the wonderful Chip Tester Pro. Evie actually helped me do a lot of diagnostics to try to figure out why this wasn't cloning, but it ended up coming down to the point that it's not clonable because of the particular PAL chip and the fact that one of the chip pins is being tri-stated. There's no way for you to determine. It's actually like both an input and output at different like times or something. Um, it's or it's utilizing the tri-state for analog purposes because the chips in question are called AD2 and AD3, analog to digital. I don't know. They do things. So, um, and I even like put together I put together like this wacky little device here with a binary counter chip to go through all of the known inputs so that I could probe all of the outputs. And one of those pins, it floats at like right at 2.5 volts. And when it goes high, it goes to 5. When it goes low, it goes to 0. And it just kind of floats right in the middle at all times, unless it's doing something. So it's
Yeah.
like, it's definitely a tri-state pin. If you assert that pin at the wrong time, the machine won't do what it's supposed to do.
Right.
And the chip I'm trying to clone it to can't tri-state those pins, or I'm not cloning it correctly or something. I don't.
Well, I'm wishing you luck because I know that you've invested quite a bit of time in this,
Yeah.
and I know that there are people that are interested in seeing this board be something more than just like an LGR video.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that was like, I was like, oh yeah, I remember hearing about this back in the day, but I never like seen one.
Yeah.
And so it was sort of neat to see, oh yeah, it's like a whole Apple II Plus, like inside your
Mhm.
PC that you can run apps and connect drives and all kinds of stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
way cool. I certainly hope you can get it going.
Yeah. MMU man's asking, do I have the schematics? No. This isn't like a wonderful applied engineering card where they back in the day they would provide such things. This was by Diamond, which is your typical hold your cards close to the chest type of thing, and they didn't really publish that. The most of the schematics for this card that exist is that right there where I started manually pin tracing the thing to try to figure out how it worked. So yeah, I was trying to figure out what PAL chip pins connected to what other pins to try to determine which pin is an input and output, and that pin in question goes into another PAL, or it goes into some buffers and stuff that only work, that you can only like assert the data on them if they're um, active, and if you try to assert data when they're not active, you end up getting like bus collisions. It is. But I'll figure it out one way or another. If I've got to ship them off to China to clone them, I'll do it. It's just going to take way, way longer to get it done,
Yeah.
because at that point, like, if I have to just go it slow, because if I put all of that, if I count all of the expense for doing that as part of the project expense, then the per card price just goes through the freaking roof.
Yeah.
Right?
I was going to say, it's like,
and
oh, well,
then
they're only like, these cards are only like $600 a piece.
right,
No big deal.
right. So that's that's a sitch where we're just not gonna. I'm trying to avoid that. So it may take way longer than I expected because of that process.
So you're saying that it just sounds like it's going to be a lot easier to clone that video card project that I talked to you about recently.
Sure, the video card project that you sent to me that has a VLSI custom ASIC chip on it. Yeah,
just clone that.
Easier.
Just clone. All you got to do is you got to plug it in to, like, I guess something, and then just like figure out what that does. And then just make new ones, Joe. Come on.
I mean, I've got the market
buddy.
analyzer. I can figure it out now.
Yeah. for all 0 people that would want one.
Yeah. Well, the upside too is that I can. How can I put it? This card, somebody's cloned a lot of the other pals, and if any of the other pals don't have tri-stating, then I should be able to get it mostly working. And but just the only thing that's broken with my cloned pals is the what's the thing called? The joystick.
Yeah.
And that kind of makes sense. Like, it's an analog device. You try stating the bus to and it sends pulses and it does timings. I don't know what it does.
Plus, it's a 2+. I mean, the only thing people want to run is VisiCalc.
No, this is a 2E.
Oh, it's a 2E.
This emulates a 2E with a Unidisc card.
Oh, neat. Okay, that's cool.
It does all the things.
Yeah,
it's got 2 freaking 6502s on it. The second one, again, to run the
floppy
controller, the floppy controller. Yeah. So, Ryan, everything broken garage is. What is the price you would like to get it to? Under $250 if I can. So it's got to be affordable.
Yeah. Plus, there's like a lot of cables and interconnect stuff and all that. That's just gonna bite into the cost of all that. So, because isn't one of the things needed is like you've got to have a machine that's got like a Visa connector, a VESA connector for passing through the video, or
no. Here,
okay,
it's in a pile over there. It just has a VGA output.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it comes out of the board and it goes into your video card, and then it passes
just through an external, or not through like an internal card edge or something like that.
Yeah, when you activate the Apple II video, it just switches.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. But
MMU, man, I actually got to talk to him in person at Kansas Fest in 2022 about that project, and the Mega 2E it's for folks that don't know, that was like he took the Mega chip off of like a 2GS motherboard and basically broke it all out to be like a real independent kind of Apple II on a board, and he had all of his prototypes there and stuff like that, and it's pretty darn cool. And then just to talk to him about like, oh yeah, well, what about the the 2E option card for Macintosh and stuff like that. He's like, that'd be really interesting too, but those are like way rarer than doing this project with the Mega 2. So, because it's the chip on the 2E option card, it's called Gemini. So it just basically it's an entire Apple IIe on a chip, minus like some RAM and some other little things, but yeah, pretty neat. ROM, no ROM on it, but yeah,
it's special.
I know, it's way cool stuff. There's a lot of those great cards, like even the cards that you have there on that 2E, or I'm sorry, that 128 motherboard. Like how many of those have like custom pals that did some jiggery pokery to make it work with those old machines?
Look at those custom Atera pals on there. Look at them. Look, fancy. Yep.
Yeah. So everybody was locking their stuff down.
Well, it was less about locking it down and more about getting more functionality out of a smaller footprint. Those PAL chips, depending on how good of a logic programmer were, you could replace effectively half of this Macintosh with 2 of those PALs. which is what they ended up doing in later Macs. You know, the SE has like the BBU chip on it, which is an entire Macintosh on a chip, minus like the support chips. It does all of this logic on a single chip, which allows them to shove more features into it. And that's really what it is. So.
It's pretty cool. I like all that large scale integration. Just kind of get everything like the swim and all these things where it was just sort of like just what's the basic stuff it does. Just boil it all down. Get it in one chip so we can stop worrying about like all these independent components. But
yep, absolutely.
Good times.
I think this is kind of re-engaging my fire to try to reverse engineer this PAL again and maybe do it in a different way instead of just trying to like dump it and figure out the raw, I want to, instead of copying it, trying to actually reverse engineer it and determine actually how it functions so that I can emulate it that way instead. Learn a little bit more about how these PAL chips actually, how many more times am I going to actually say actually, Ron's actual computer videos?
Yeah, it's a couple more times.
Actually, and just figure out how that functions and do the thing. Actually, yeah, but we'll see. We'll see.
Way cool. You know, Joe, we have a holiday coming up next week.
Yeah.
Do you have any big plans?
Sit at home and eat wonderful turkey dinner and do nothing. Fair
enough.
That's all that's happening on in my world. What's happening in your world?
I have to travel a bit. Actually, my parts of my family are going one place. Parts of my family are going to a different place. So we're kind of traveling and doing some things. And I think on Friday, I'm gonna head to St. Louis. I've got a few stops I need to make in terms of like retro computing. Just seeing what's out there because it's really sad. They had a really cool place up there that closed earlier this year. But as part of that, I've made new connections with other people just to kind of like, hey, like what else is out there like this? And it turns out the answer is nothing. But there are like a few smaller recyclers up there that have like back rooms full of stuff that they're just like, oh, we've just been sitting on it. Yeah, we've just been waiting on some of these things just to see if the value went up or see if the value went down before we shredded everything for the precious metals content. So I'm going to make a couple stops probably on Friday and Saturday and just see what there is to see. Maybe get some B-roll. Who knows? That's what I love about my phone. It's like you just carry the phone around everywhere, and you're like, this would make amazing B-roll. And then in 6 months, you're like, why is my phone full? Delete.
Yeah.
So,
congratulations on getting all your wonderful slate of shorts.
Yeah.
Just plates and plates of shorts.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just lots. It's been a lot of folding. You get them out of the oven or you get them out of the dryer, fold them up, put them nicely on the shelf. So, but it's I don't know. I need to make a video too because I just crossed 3,000 subscribers on my channel.
Congratulations!
And thanks.
Everybody in the chat, give them claps. Do it.
You don't have to.
Not pity claps.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't bring it up for like accolades or anything like that. But I did. Want to bring it up because I do want to make a video here shortly, talking about how to like where do you go from anywhere with YouTube stuff, and just there's people I've talked to that have been like, oh well, I didn't take anything serious till I crossed like 3,000 subscribers, and I was like, well, how did you get there? Because it seems like there's a lot of people that make really great content that just kind of languish. And what did you really do to get there? And it's like, oh, it turns out it's just you make some evergreen content and just the right person picks it up or shares it or whatever. And I mean, I've gotten name dropped by people with huge audiences and things like that, and it very infrequently turns over into anything other than maybe just like a beep, beep, kind of blip on the thing. So But I don't know. I just want to talk to people. I want to show behind this, kind of behind the admin panel, so people
Mhm.
can see like exactly like what's going on and
Sure.
the challenges
That
of
sounds cool.
figuring out what the hell people want to watch. Because it turns
Mhm.
out it's mostly dad jokes. It seems like I don't know. I mean, I like a good dad joke, but I don't know if it's sustainable. So
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
have to
I
see.
hear you. And of course, the Macintosh is coming up on its 40th anniversary.
Yeah.
And so on that, I think I might do a little video of this 128, getting it up and running. So we'll see.
Mhm. Well, you
Just
only have a couple of months to get that done, Joe. So you
yeah, I
better.
know. Well, see, I have to plan that far ahead because like I just don't actually do videos anymore. So oh, it's a thing. I'm too busy with my head, up the butt of these electronic devices to like do so many to do actual physical videos anymore. It is my thing.
Yeah.
You do
Well,
what you like doing, is what it is. And
it's
video
true.
production, editing is
Mhm.
I like doing.
Well, and I think that OBS does make things a little bit easier because you can shoot something on the fly if you know exactly what it is you want to talk about.
Yeah.
So you can just be like, all right, hey, intro, and then like, all right, let's go over here, and you send it over there, and then you send it back over there, and you wrap your stuff up, and you play your outro, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I've been able to do that with a lot of videos that otherwise I wouldn't have had time to do much with. So, but it's very frustrating. I posted on social media recently about the. Of course, you would enjoy editing Rudy. Of course, totally on brand for Rudy. No, I think editing is okay. But I posted a picture where it's like, hey, like shout out to all the people that spent hours editing a 5-minute video for like 100 people to watch ever.
Right. Right.
So it's like I just do stuff that interests me. And if it interests other people, then that's good. I
Yeah.
don't go chasing like trends. If anything, I try to make fun of trends because it's like the red arrow trend that kind of exploded maybe mid
Oh
this
yeah, yeah,
year,
yeah,
where
yeah. Mhm.
every video it was like a close up of somebody's face making like a look like they desperately needed to go to the bathroom, but they had something that was stopping them from going to the bathroom. They're like, "Ah," like they got some kind of
Mhm.
look, and then it'll be arrows pointing everywhere about like what's this
The
thing?
arrow's pointing to like this one weird pixel in the sky, and you're
Yeah,
thinking the
yeah.
video is going to be about what the arrow points to, but it's really about his mom's appendectomy, and you're like, yeah, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
So
So it's I don't know, or like music and things like that. Like there's certain, especially like on TikTok and things like that, where there's certain songs that go viral. And
no,
so
yeah, yeah.
then people make
Do, do,
videos
do, do, do,
that
do,
kind of
do,
fit
do,
that,
do.
yeah, that fit whatever that thing is. And it may not necessarily make any sense, but it'll get views because it's using that song, or it's using that clip, or it's using whatever. So I don't know.
Mhm.
These kids today, and their hula hoops and their TikToks and all that type of stuff. You just
Pogo
can't keep up
sticks.
with it. It's rough.
Mhm. Yes, it is. Well, I think that's good enough for a show tonight. What do you
Sure.
think, Ron?
Yeah, it's been an hour. It's
Yeah.
the court mandated visitation that we have. We have filled it for this month. So
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Thank you, Ron,
mhm.
for being on the show tonight,
Thanks
and
for having
sharing.
me. I know that it
You
was
know,
it was tough. It was tough getting me on. There were so many people here. I'm going to talk over everybody.
yeah, I know,
Good
and
lord.
like, gosh, I mean, everybody wanted to not be on tonight, and they were
That's
like, "I'm sick," but really, they had awesome plans, and they just didn't
mhm.
want to hurt my feelings. But you
Yep.
decided to put off all your other plans
I know. I I
to be here
I I
tonight,
was
and I
like,
appreciate
you know what? I didn't pick a night to stream in the middle of the week, like a prime time when other people could have, and then did a 45-minute stream. I didn't do those things. that's other hosts on this show. I was like, because Trina was posting the other or streaming or something the other day, and I was like, oh, that's right. And I finally just got home, and I logged in, and it was just like the stream ended like 30 seconds ago or something. I was like, come on. So, but I guess you get a long day and you get tired. So,
Yep. I get it. All right. Well, again, thanks everybody for stopping by. This has been Richard Repair Roundup, episode number 46. Our next episode will be on, it's looking to be something like December 3rd. For those out there who are in the United States or any other place in the world who likes to do their Thanksgiving this upcoming week, we hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving and that you overeat and that you don't go out on the Black Friday stuff and get run over by some grandma who thinks she needs the newest version of Tickle Me Elmo for her grandkids. We hope you will all end up okay. And yes,
I got something to say about the Black Friday stuff.
Yes,
as someone who worked retail for like a very long time, back in the pre-internet days, really, I really appreciate that these retailers are now like basically advertising their Black Friday prices like starting like this weekend. Like there's a lot of retailers that have like already like the Black Friday deals are already there. Now there might be like a few things that are like super deals where every store gets 3 90-inch Hisense LCD TVs that they're already broken in the box, folks, but they're $120, so you can't beat that price. But I was gonna say, because there's a number of places that already have those deals out there, so don't murder yourself trying to do things. I promise you that even if you have the most like terrible self-centered family that is only interested in material things, they would still probably rather have you around than I got crushed to death trying to get a Cabbage Patch Kid. So just be smart this coming week, and don't forget, if you buy it now, you buy it today or tomorrow, you just go back on Saturday and price match it.
Yeah.
That's how have people never figured this out? even whatever. If it says Friday only, you still go and complain. And you get your thing price matched. So, because I bought something for my son for Christmas already. I bought it at the beginning of November because it was in stock and it was ready to go. And I went back today and I was like, hey, you marked it down. It's nearly $60 off this price. And like, no questions. They were just like, sounds great. Just beep, beep, beep. And they're like, let's look at the other things on your receipt. And they're like, oh yeah, this was marked down too. Beep, beep, beep. Another $20. So I walked out like with nearly $90 in just like refunds today because I just game the system.
That is insane.
By just following the system.
Yeah.
So I gamed it by doing exactly what you're supposed to do. So just be safe out there.
Yeah.
And I know, Joe, you said you weren't necessarily going to go anywhere, but again, there's a lot of people that are going places that maybe like not paying attention. They got a million things on their mind, things like that. So if you are traveling, even if you're just going to like Ralph's to pick up some milk, just be careful, please.
Yes. Yep. Be careful. Don't drive on the sidewalk. Don't drink and drive.
Well, there it is. Sorry.
Don't smoke and drive. Don't drive.
I promise you. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I promise you. I did work retail for a very long time. So long I can mark down things at the register.
All righty. Well, again, thanks everybody. We'll see you on the next episode. And yeah, have a good evening.
Bye.
Click the button.
Click the button.